The Black Idea Guy podcast is a new business and culture platform created with the mission to serve as a compass with the ultimate goals of helping talented and urbanly influenced creatives get potentially disruptive, new ideas, thinking, and perspectives off the ground out and into the world. Acronymed as The Big Show, this is not an interview. This is an exchange. We hope that this unfiltered expression will leave all with realized game, greater perspective, inspiration, critical insights, and introspective ideas that will drive results. The Black Idea Guy podcast comes firsthand from a former athlete turned innovator, a multi-potentialite, creative, and entrepreneurial marketing mastermind, the Black Idea Guy himself, Make Allen Brown, and a range of featured guests, each whom are extremely gifted and powerful within their own right. So today, I'm here with my man, King Kent.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's King.
Kent King.
Kent King.
Yes.
Kent King. You know what I'm saying? It's all fairness. You're a maker.
Yes.
You're a maker
True
of
indeed.
many.
True indeed.
True indeed.
I like to say I'm a multi-hyphenated disciplinarian. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Disciplinarian.
Now everybody got that like dash. I'm this dash. I'm multi-hyphenated. That's all
Absolutely.
I say. That's just it, because I don't even like to put all the dashes in there.
But you genuinely are, because like it's crazy. The world really nuts, because how we have come into the universe in this capacity has been sort of like divine timing.
Definitely.
I think like if it would have been if you would have if you were to rewind 4, 5, 6 years ago, where we were at in life, maybe 8 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I think that people would have identified you in a completely different way.
100%.
Right?
100%.
And like it was because it's like you were out there as one thing that no one truly even knew the capacity for what you're doing now was within the body of the person moving
100%.
in the light that was 8 years ago.
It's so funny too, because I always be like, when people be like, damn, like what you doing now is this, and I'm like, yo, I've always been this guy.
Right.
I've always been this guy.
Right.
I just never displayed it in the way in which I'm displaying it. Like, even all the way down to like my captions on Instagram, right? Like, I never posted a picture without having something to say of value.
Right.
I always made sure my captions were something of some value. Like,
Right.
I would take pictures and just save them to post until later. Like, I'm the guy that can delay gratification. For me, I see the value in it. I see the value in delayed gratification. So I didn't always post, right? Like, oh, we in a moment, boom, take it, post it. Now, for me, it was always just like, when you have something to say, or when there is purpose, when this can actually add value, then you post it. Because I didn't really care about people seeing me how I live my life.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? No matter what, I always try to give a different aspect of me. But I think mostly people limit the potential that they see you in based on their own potential.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I can't do 4 or 5 different things, if I can't spin 4 or 5 different plates or wear 4 or 5 different hats, then I can't see you doing that at all, right? Like, I am one thing, so you must be one thing. Like, that's how a lot of people's mindset works. So, yeah, man, 8 years ago, you definitely would have seen a whole different me, or I would have been categorized differently.
It was like, because that was the era of DJ Dark Kent. That was the era. And like, granted, we were in so many similar spaces. I mean, you were literally on so many events that I was at. Like DJing, or just showing up and popping up and just being who we knew as DJ Dark Kent in that atmosphere. So
we ran in the same circles.
Right. We were in the same circles. Right. And at the same time, even an individual that I show up as every day in these now new years, I was that person back then. Right. It was just, I guess geographically, things really don't get to shine through until like you really own them, right? Like, you own them. So you had to step back from the position that everyone saw you as to become the person that you are.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So, and it's beautiful, yo. I love the person that you have become, and
Thank you, brother.
It's super helpful.
Likewise, man. I love what you're doing with everything,
bro.
man. I love what you got going on with everything, and I think that I love the effort that you put in everything that you do. I think that that's really what it is, right? It's easy to say that I want to do this or start a business or do a podcast or whatever the case may be. But when you watch and witness somebody put, that extra effort, I always tell this to my girl. I'm like, yo, go the extra mile, because it's never crowded, right? Like, there ain't no competition when you going the extra mile because everybody else is just going here.
Right.
When you going way
bare
down,
minimum.
yeah,
like.
exactly. They trying to get the job done, but when you going way down here to make sure it's like it's that, people can tell, man, quality shines, and so. Much respect to everything that you do because I see that you go the extra mile in it. You know what I'm saying? So much respect. That's why we here.
That makes me feel extremely warm inside, man. This is actually going to be a really, really good exchange for many people that just are of urban background that understand that there's so much more out there to be had and to be acquired. Like it's like I think we've broken down the limitations on a lot, right? Like for even the way how people identify us and the things that we do, like we're inspiring to a lot of people. Even though we may suppress the accomplishments that we've had or the gratification that people give us, it's suppressed, but like, we're really doing things at an admirable level.
Definitely.
Right. And I want to jump into like who you appear as every day, right? And who you are becoming a beacon of value for in this community, right? It's like this crypto digital, like this
new world.
Space is like very, very nuts. And it seems like every day is the beginning, right? Because every conversation is like you have new groups of people learning about it for day one. Every day is really the beginning.
Yeah.
In the space, like every chat room somewhere is learn what is crypto, what is blockchain, what is DeFi, what is you always gonna have those.
Definitely.
Right? I don't think there's any conversations happening. What is the internet?
Facts.
There's no more of those. What is the internet? We know what the internet is
exactly.
But right now, every single day you have a what is DeFi, what is Ethereum, what is blockchain, what is what is NFTs?
Yes.
So literally every day is day one for this new conversation that's happening. Yeah. And that's how I identify it. And the fact that you're now an educator in the space as well as you're growing in your knowledge base because you're still humble, but you very much are informed, right? And now it is coming from someone that's watched, and I'm also a part of,
right.
Like the ecosystem that you're building. So it's just like, man, like for all of the newbies, for all of the enthusiasts watching from the sideline, right? The people that want to know what's happening, the people that like, what really can you say that got you entrenched into the digital finance world, into like the cryptocurrency space?
I mean, if we're gonna be honest, right? I've always been a tech nerd. I've always been the tech geek. I'm the guy that, when I was younger, my mom could drop me off at Best Buy and she could disappear and I wouldn't even notice, right? Because I'm in there having a ball.
Yeah.
I've always been the guy that had to have the iPhone first, or, you know what I mean? I've always been, there's the law of diffusion of innovation, right? I was always in the early stage when it came to technology. So that's just me as an individual to my core.
Right.
With this, with this new emerging technology, I think the thing that really kind of put me in a position was the simple fact that I missed out. I was late to the game, right? Like I first found out about Bitcoin when it was about $80, right?
Yeah.
Like years and years and years ago. I was coming back from Tokyo and I landed in LA, and I'll never forget it. Me and my guy brother, we sat there and we just studied Bitcoin as much as we could. And we still didn't invest.
Right.
Like knowing what we knew, we still didn't invest.
Right.
And then so for it to come full circle, right? Like I saw the opportunity that I had missed. I saw the growth that I had missed out on. And so, right, rather than to hoard that type of knowledge to myself, I decided that it would be much better to build a community around it and to enlighten as many people as possible to the idea, to the concept, to the understanding of the opportunities that they could gain from being a part of these communities.
Right.
So that's pretty much how we got here full circle.
And the thing about it is, I guess, where would you say you are in the timeline of when this thing is going to be mature versus it coming onto the scene versus 9 years ago?
Can we pause?
Good pause. So here's the thing about it's interesting because you mentioned yourself, like, you know, you were always a techie. You were early into doing those things. Like, I think in many lights, like, it's sort of like people misconstrue how much you have to, like, people take it wrong about nerding out on things, right? Like being obsessive about certain things. Like, and I think, like, where I sit and where you sit, we come together as, like, nerds about what we really care about. Like, we really care about something, so we obsess about it, learn as much as you can. And you good? We learn everything we can about these topics, and then we turn around and become authorities in the space. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like I think like let's talk about the misconstrued. It's misconstrued in our culture
About nerding.
Yeah,
I think so like recently, right? When we had this conversation the other day, I was telling you that, like, I used to be a guy to be like, yo, follow your passion. Follow your passion. And then I realized that, like, you know, passions change and things like that. And sometimes it doesn't always pull you as much as you want it to, because sometimes what you're passionate about is not the process. What you're passionate about is the potential of the end result, right? That's where a lot of people get that misconstrued. So now my new thing is chase your obsessions. Chase the things that
facts.
Chase the things that you are obsessed about, because those are the things that are going to continuously pull you through the process.
So are people wrong to be obsessed about money?
I don't think that you're wrong to be obsessed about money. I think that you may have the wrong ideology about money if you are obsessed about money, because I think that most people equate money to freedom, and that's not how it works, right? Just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you have a lot of time.
Right.
So
right.
I think that that's what most people want, right? Is the ability to live their life without having to clock in, clock out. The ability to do what it is that they want to do without having to worry about how this bill is going to get paid. Yeah. So I think that, what you should be chasing is freedom of time. What you should be obsessed with is leverage, right? I don't think that being obsessed with money is healthy, because money is a currency. And so if you look at the root word current, it's supposed to flow. You're not supposed to hoard your money, because if I put all my money in the bank, it ain't working for me.
Right.
It's not growing at all. It's actually decaying, right?
So talk about it.
So just in that sense alone, if you are obsessed with money, I think that you're a bit short-sighted. But if you are obsessed with leverage, or if you are obsessed with being in control of your own time, I think that will lead you to having all the money that you actually need to make those things accomplishable.
Yeah.
So I don't think that you're wrong. I just think that you're a little bit short-sighted if you're obsessed with money. Chase it all you want, but just know that, like, at the end of the day, what you actually gonna get is not what you really want.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree, man. I mean, I think sometimes though, I don't think that there's anything particularly wrong with setting out and having a goal, right?
Not at all.
And if financial freedom is a goal, that's a good start, right?
Definitely.
Of course, right? Financial freedom to be your goal, if that's your North Star, that's a good start. And many times, a lot of people get into things and, like, yeah, they want the resources, yeah, they want the financials, but they're not really adding the value that equates to the dollars that they hope to make. Right.
I think also,
like, seriously.
I think when I decided that, like, I'm gonna leave my 9 to 5, right, and I'm going to try this entrepreneurial wear this entrepreneurial hat, right. I had to figure out what it meant for me to be financially free, and so I had to. The way that I did it was I had 3 budgets, right. I said, all right, look, if I wanted to eat. I had a steak and lobster budget, which means, like, if I wanted to eat steak and lobster every night, if I wanted to be able to eat that type of meal every single day, plus pay all of my bills, how much is it that I need to make a month?
Right.
And then I had a little medium budget, right? Like a little in the middle. If I want to just eat a little good, like some pasta with some shrimp, you know what I'm saying? That's a different budget. And then I had a ramen noodle budget, which is like, what could I survive off of?
Right.
What could I sacrifice and say, all right, this is all I really need to survive.
So you
every
went
single
steak
month.
and lobster,
Shrimp
and pasta,
and then oodles and
ramen
noodles. Yes, those were my 3 budgets. That's exactly how I did it. That's no lie. That's
genius.
exactly how I
it.
did it.
I
And I
love it.
knew I had numbers, right? So I said, all right, cool. I have to make this much money every month if I want to live like this. I have to make this much money every month to live like that. And what I really need is this. That's my financial freedom. Mm-hmm. So as long as I'm over that moniker, I'm financially free because my bills are paid and I've been able to meet all of Maslow's hierarchy, right? The 6 needs that we have as human beings. Cool. Got that. Once I had that, it was a focused target. And it gave me a starting point to say, okay, this month, it might be a ramen noodle month, but I have a target of steak and shrimp or steak and lobster, right? Like I had that target. And so for me, that financial freedom is your focal point.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not like, because everybody just be like, I need to make $1 million. I need to be making, I need to be making this much.
Unrealistic.
It's not true.
And also, it's like the first thing when it came to me about like breaking away from a structured corporate like working situation and kind of being autonomous and like living in the life that I desire for myself, it was like changing behaviors. That's the first step. Like you got to change your behaviors to be able to live in this lifestyle 100%. That you want to live in.
I think for me, the first step was changing mentality. It was like changing the way in which I, loved money, the way in which I used money.
Right.
And that's why I said money's a currency. It works best when it flows from person to person.
Right.
It's not supposed to stay still. That's
right.
You know what I'm saying? No current stays still. You can drink from a rushing, like if you're somewhere in the woods or whatever, and that water's moving fast, you can actually drink from that water because it's cleaning itself. If it's still water, you can't drink from it because the bacteria is still stuck in there. And it's the same thing with money. If your money is just sitting there, bacteria, right, which is there's all types of bacteria. Yes, right. There's all types of bacteria that's going to decay your money. Yep. And so for me, learning mentally that this is a currency, I'm not supposed to be hoarding this. I'm supposed to be using this money as leverage to gain more financial freedom, to gain more days that I don't have to work, to gain more days that I have to make less sacrifices.
Right.
So once I changed that mentality, 100% behavior was sure to follow because it was like, oh, I can't do everything.
I think this is also something that I learned along the way is like people think that they're just gonna one day wake up and just have the freedom to do what they want, right? Like, if I have a 9-to-5 job for the last 5 years, you think on day 1 of year 6, I'm just gonna be able to wake up and be like, you know what? I ain't going to work today, and I don't have to. Like, nah. Like, you have to really tailor your behaviors to 100%. Knowing what it feels like to wake up and know like you got another 23 hours to like do whatever. You create your schedule for that 23 hours.
100%.
So like, I used to wake up and it was like, for a while, for like a year, 2020 was an interesting year because I literally put myself on robot mode. I made a schedule, right? And I literally wrote out what I'm doing for 24 hours, right? Where blocks of time, what I should be doing, where I should be, what does this look like? And I stuck to it for a year. And on the same day that I made that schedule the following year, I had saw what the results were. I'm like, I'm doing some shit right now.
Yeah, productivity.
The productivity scale was definitely on the upward trend.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to keep the same schedule, but I'm going to tweak things on like the season.
Gotcha.
Right? Because I still want to be human. I still want to be personable. I still want to be young.
I still want to enjoy life.
I still want to enjoy the shit that I'm on, you know? So doing this kind of work is like, okay, the following year with the positioning that I had gotten being robotic from 2020 to 2021, when I entered 2021 from that previous year's positioning, 2022 has me in a stratosphere.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I now have been aligned into a new sort of like corporate structure when it comes to time management. Just my time management and just like the alliances that I've made, right? Doing the work that I've done. So 2022, it's like I came into this year with a focus and like a discipline that I never really felt. And it was so new, super new to feel this clear and sure that everything that I'm doing is right.
I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It's it's sort of like it's hard.
I'm gonna tell you how much I get you, right? Like, in all honesty, and this is the God's honest truth. As you were saying that, and I'm gonna bring it all back circle, but as you were saying that, I thought you was gonna go on to 2023. The reason being is because mentally, that's where I'm at.
That's where you at.
That's where I'm at. Literally. Yeah. I'm literally, this year's already over for me because I know what it is that I have to do. I've already set it in motion. I'm just running.
Oh, talk it, bro.
I'm on autopilot right now. I'm not thinking about 2020. The God's honest truth, I put this on my life. I'm thinking we are already in 2023. Yeah. That is so, because the deals that I've made, the way that I've structured things, my mind is solving the problems that I'm going to have next year because of the accomplishments that I'm going to make this year.
Facts.
Like, and honest to God, I can't be more honest with you than to tell you that, like, literally I was about to be like, yeah, he about to say 2023. And I had to be like, oh, we ain't there yet, are we? Oh, okay. I forgot. We still in 22.
I'll tell you what's even so much crazier, right? We launched, so DAP, you know, as many on the Black Idea Guy pod out there, like, you know, DAP is our hand sanitizer for the culture, you know, made during the COVID pandemic 2020, has done tremendous things, and we're just growing and trying to create a real brand that is rooted in culture. Choose DAP, use DAP forever. Shameless plug, right?
No, 100%. And I'll even add on to it. When I got here, I had to go to the bathroom.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, hey.
Yeah, of course.
Why not?
I'm going to be real, right?
Why not?
So when I got here,
off camera love, yes sir. Shout out to Keshawn, yes sir.
When I got here, right, I had to go to the bathroom, and so, you know, came back, washed my hands or whatever, came back. Of course, you had product placement right there. I hit it. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing that I got to tell you is so sad that they don't have smell-o-vision, because right. Until they invent smell-o-vision, because I was like, yo, you know, I'm gonna be real with you. I was like, yo, he think he's slick. You know what I'm saying? He talking about he created hand sanitizer, but he made it smell a certain way so that females would be attracted to
distinct.
it. I was like, I get this. I get this.
Distinct.
If I was a single man, I'd have stole all of this right here, and this would be like my,
distinct.
You know what I'm saying? Every time I go out to the club, I gotta use this.
Here's the thing about what we did with DAP. And I've spoken about this on the pod before, but it's like, yo, like, I came into an industry that hadn't really had an authority, right? A cultural authority. So, you know, the leading brand on the market starts with the P. We're familiar with it, right? But the thing is, though, it hasn't been cool enough in popular culture that if a secondary brand that did come in with some steam behind it was presented to the mass audience, people will literally go to that brand. That's cool.
100%.
Like, we don't care enough about the leading brand right now that we won't jump ship.
There's no culture behind it.
To go to some culture.
There's no culture behind the leading brand.
Right.
It's because they don't focus on culture.
Exactly.
They focus on supply and demand,
right,
and making a product that actually falls within the lines of the market.
Right.
Like, do you know what it takes to curate culture? It takes what you're doing every day, which is talking about it and creating more ideas around it, and being able to shameless plug that in there, being able to say that this is the basis of this.
Right.
That's culture.
Right.
The other thing is, with culture, you gain community and you gain trust.
Yep.
Right? Because you're doing something from your why.
Yep.
Right? Like, when you speak from your why, there's a reason why people have certain things, Apple, tattooed on them. Right? Because they're in love with that brand, that culture. It represents something to them.
You talking, bro.
So
you talking.
What you're doing, right, is nothing short of I don't even want to use it's nothing short of being a pioneer in the space, right? You are pioneering a brand in the space because you are birthing it from a different perspective outside of what is already there. Yeah. Everyone else goes from the perspective of meet the needs of supply and demand.
Right.
Meet the market needs, get this thing done so that I can then sell you another product and another product and another product. They're not saying, let me build this and let me build culture and community around it,
right,
so that way you feel a personal attachment to this. Think about what happens when if you got an iPhone or you meet somebody who has an Android. You almost feel like you can't be as cool with them.
Yo, for real.
Like if you know somebody and that's your man, you're like, yo, what's up, my dude? And it was like, yo, text me, I got a new number. And you text him and it's a green bubble. You like, hey, Did you give me the right number?
It's it's you question.
Like what's going on here?
Absolutely.
I said this the other day. I was like, yo, anybody who comes into my house with an Android automatically feels uncomfortable because I have the Apple ecosystem.
Right.
There's always more Apple devices in my house than there are people. That's a fact. I'm in part of the entire ecosystem. So if you want to come to the crib and you want to show me something and you got an Apple device, yo, just stream it to the TV. You know, it's honestly right what they have done for their entire ecosystem to make you feel a part of it. And they've built culture around that. And so I identify with that culture. Yeah. And I feel like I'm a part of the Apple brand. And so to me, with what you are doing, you are building more than a product. You are building a brand.
And it's for me, it's super important because I understand how far branding can go. Mm-hmm. Like I understand how deeply connected people get to brands. And I heard a rapper say this one time. A rapper said, people don't buy music anymore, they buy the brand, right? They buy the brand selling the music, right? So the artist is great, right? The artistry that the artist provides is great, but the messaging and the why that artist is creating is what people really attach to, right? Like, and I think when it comes to me doing all these things that I've done over the past 10 years, it's all been in trying to convey some sort of bigger message than whatever product was attached to that. It's always, it's like, yeah, of course, there's a tangible, like, ancillary product that's here, but when you associate with what's promoting that product, that's why I'm so, like, bullish on the products that I'm bringing to the market.
No,
right?
100%, man. Brand is everything. It's like, you know, if Nike said that they were going to make a department store, right? Like Walmart has, and they were going to sell a whole bunch of stuff, you could automatically assume what that department store would look like, right? Yeah. Because they are a brand and you understand how they do things. If Walmart said that they were going to make sneakers, you can't see that,
right? Because
their brand is not identifiable to a product or to a certain lifestyle or ecosystem. And so there's a huge difference in leverage in what it is that you can do when you have a brand. You can do cross-brand ideas. You can step out of your own category and do something new and still have a sense of trust there because you've built a brand. And so that trust travels across those items. You're not just selling an item, you're selling a brand.
Selling a brand.
It's a huge difference. Huge difference.
So now that we've gotten on the brand topic, right? Like I love branding. You are
I'm a brand
equally
fanatic,
as entrenched into branding, man. And I think like I think people not say question, but people definitely come to us and they inquire a lot, right? About how to build a brand, where to start, how to really get a brand off the ground, right? And I think for me, to even try to answer that question or put that into the floor and try to give a backup to that is like, I tell them when people ask me how do I build a brand or how do I start, where do I start to think with my brand, I ask them, who are you speaking to, right? Like how will your brand make someone else feel? Right? Like if your brand was a human, how would that brand look? Like where would that brand sit in the lunchroom? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I tell people, and this is something that I got from Simon Sinek because he wrote a book about it called Start With Why.
Start with why. Yep.
I tell people start with why, because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Right. So it's not just like, that's not just like a statement. That's actually science. Like your brain, the things that the part of the brain that actually controls your decisions, that is attached to the why. That is literally human makeup. That is how humans are made. The part of the brain that actually attaches to our decision making cannot comprehend words.
Right.
That part of the brain is an emotional thing. That part of the brain is curated to make us make decisions that are all based on our why. Every decision that we make, there's a why attached to it. And so I tell people the number one place to start is with your why. When you define your why, when you actually define why it is that you're doing what you're doing, the what will come very easily. Perfect example was with the wallets, with Leverage Luxury, right? When I tried to start that, I had no idea that I was going to be doing wallets.
Right.
I knew that I was in a position where I was showing people how to gain leverage. I was showing people how to make more money than they are currently making, right? And so for me, I was like, the fastest way to make a profit is to sell a product. Yep. And I was like, yo, what would my product be? Right. I'm over here teaching people about stocks and crypto and all of this. What product would I have? And so I reversed it. And I was like, why am I thinking about the what? Let me think about the why. Why am I actually making a product? Well, I want to make something that feels like you are investing into something as opposed to just buying something, right? I want to make something feel like we are disrupting a culture. We are disrupting something that has never been touched before. And so for me, it was like, look, you buy all of these wallets and they say nothing about you. You buy a wallet that says everything about the brand. Where is the wallet that says something about your consumer behavior? Right. Where is the wallet that says something about why you do what you do? And so I decided to make sure that we had a wallet that says more about consumer mindset than it says about the manufacturer, which is why anything on the wallet, right, any message that we have as far as consumer mindset will always be at least 3 times larger than our brand logo.
Than the brand logo.
That is 100%. And that's why the first one started out with, what would Nip do? Because that was a personal thing for me, right? When I was giving out this knowledge and I would get frustrated because people would ask me to go back to zero again. People would ask me to go back to the beginning again. And I had to forget everything I already knew about the things that I was thinking about and go back and try to remember when it was day one for me and talk to these people. When that frustration kicked in, that message of what would Nip do always kicked me in my ass to keep going.
Powerful.
Yo, I'm serious.
Powerful.
Because it was like, yo, no matter what, you can find interview after interview after interview after interview with Nip giving out game.
Giving game. Yep.
Giving out game. And sometimes answering those relentless questions, sometimes answering those redundant questions and just being like, I'm going to still give this game out. And so that's why that one was a personal, you know what I'm saying, aside to me. Everything else that we come out with will be something for the actual consumer, but that one was personally tied to me. And so that's why I did what I did. That's why that brand is the way it is, right? Even down to the color, right? The color of it is orange. The reason why is because one of Nip's favorite books was Contagious. And that is the same exact color.
I didn't know this.
Yes.
I didn't know this.
The same exact color of the book Contagious, right? And I did that. Yeah. And I got the wallet. So we can actually go ahead and on camera. We know no capping.
This is no cap.
That's crazy that you got that book with you. Book, yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Let's do this, right? Hey, why not, right? For the brand equity.
We're going to just, you know what I'm saying? We'll leave it out there. Yeah. Shouts to Jonah Berger, man.
Yes, sir.
I left mine in the car, but I'm actually reading Invisible, which is I've
seen it, heard about it, haven't read it yet.
Yeah, so I'm only on the forward just now because I just got done reading 12 Months to a Million. So I'm gonna probably finish that though on the way back to Atlanta. But yeah, man, I wanted to make sure that the brand connected with my why, right, as opposed to like the what or the who or the like my why. Why am I doing this?
Yo, I think that's the greatest reason to have. Right. If you attach this to something that's deeper, that means so much to you in terms of your why, you can't really lose. You're gonna find a way to make it work.
I call it the why factor. So yeah, I don't give that out, right? But I literally when I start talking to people like and they're asking me about brands and stuff, that's the first thing that I write down. It's the letter Y and then I dash factor, right? Because everything that you do should start from there and then branch out. So what is your why factor? What is it? What is your why factor? Write that down. Once you write that down, you now have a centralized idea. And that can change, right? You can finalize that as many times as you want. But that's where your thought bubble should begin. It's the why factor.
Yeah.
I just gave that out, and that's like one of
game.
those. I ain't gonna style. That's one of those things that like when people come to me and they're willing to pay me, that's part of the actual structure that I'm like, all right, look, this is what you got to fill out. That's the top thing. Literally, it says Y factor, and people look at it like Y factor, the letter Y, and then when they get it, I'm like, no, it's the question why.
Right.
Ask yourself why you are doing this. Why is your product needed? Why is it different? Why is it remarkable? And then you can actually start to build your brand.
And this book, funny enough, is like the splitting image of that.
I know.
There's so many indicators.
That's
of
why I
that
had to pay homage. That's exactly why I had to pay homage. Yeah.
You're that. You're there.
Yeah.
You're there. You're there.
It all made sense.
It's love, man. Would you ever go back to DJing?
Would I go back to DJing is a loaded question, right?
Not
because
back to,
so
but,
check. I'm gonna just say like
yeah.
I stopped DJing private parties a long time ago.
Gotcha.
Right? It's like you couldn't, if I had to bring speakers there or if it was gonna be a private thing, you couldn't get me to go back to that. The right clubs potentially, if they're set up right and the energy is right. But back to DJing, I kind of never really. I ceased, not stopped, right? I ceased DJing for the moment because the opportunities that I was awarded as a DJ didn't fit with my perspective or my why anymore. Here's the reason why I stopped DJing. I'll be honest with you. I got to what I thought was the pinnacle height. I got to be on Hot 97. That moment for me was supposed to be the
Mecca.
Yes.
The Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what happened? I got to the building and I had to sign paperwork. And I had to be there at a certain time and I had to do all of these things and abide by these rules. And as I'm doing this and this is supposed to be the most exciting time in my life.
Right.
I feel like I've done everything that I did to come back at the beginning.
At the very beginning.
And I was like, yo, this feels like a job again. And I started talking to the homies who were already consistently on radio because mine was just a guest slot. I started talking to the homies who are consistently there. And I'm like, oh, you got to be here at this time. You have to. And then it got worse because they handed me a call sheet, which was like, at this time, you have to be playing this song. And at this time, you have to be playing this song. And a lot of people don't know this about radio, but like there's a certain type of sheet where like you have to touch some of these certain songs within this time frame. And I have no problem with abiding by rules, but I felt like it was stifling my creativity.
Right.
And so for me, again, it was just like glass ceiling, right? It was like, I'm not trying to feel like this.
Right.
I did this for the freedom. And now I'm feeling like I'm putting back on just a fancier set of shackles.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
The golden chains.
Yeah. Like, nah. Just because these chains got Hot 97 tatted on them, I'm good.
Right.
And shouts out to the opportunity, and I'm super grateful for it. But then there was also the whole, big brother, little brother hazing thing that I had to go through. It was like somebody told me not to be at a meeting and then started screaming on me because I wasn't at the meeting. Like there was that whole situation that was just like, all right, man, I'm not going to play this game with y'all.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to play this game with y'all. I done climbed up here to try to do all of this and y'all not about to put me back here. So I said all that to say, for the right reasons and in the right setting, situation, and scenario, my heart, and I'm still passionate. All right, I'm still passionate about DJing. I'm just obsessed with guiding other people to financial freedom.
Yeah.
So of course, I still have an artist that I'm his DJ, and once he goes on tour, I got to saddle right back up, and you know what I'm saying? But there's a different feeling there. It's not like I'm going to work.
Right.
I get to hang out with my mans and make thousands of people feel better in that moment. I get to make whatever it is that you was worried about today, yesterday, whatever. When you come here and you hear me, you ain't worried about that no more. I get to have that type of influence. I'm more about impact than I am about income. And so if I can't make a huge impact from doing it,
I'm more about impact than income. Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
That's how I live my life.
It's so crazy that you had your experience at the radio station, and like, I mean, my first career role out of college, man, was at a radio station. Believe it or not. Yeah.
That's dope.
Worked at a radio station.
That's dope.
In the marketing department, right? Was a promotions assistant, all right? And I had no corporate etiquette. None. I was green as I could be. So I was as green as I could be. Working in this like behemoth of a media company that just so happened to own these large radio stations. And I was in there literally, I think I mentioned this on a previous episode, I was in there trying to take my boss's job. Because I just couldn't think that I was going to be getting paid what I was getting paid, that minuscule amount, for the allure that everyone on the outside thought was millions and millions of dollars, to be doing what I was doing when I could do it at such a higher level than what they were asking me to do it at. So I'm coming in there with suggestions. Yeah, I'm coming in there like, yo, nah, y'all doing this wrong. Like, y'all should do this like
and
this.
And they probably hit you with the, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
They're like, yo, nah, that's not
this
how we
is how
do
it's
things.
Always been done.
I'm like, yo, y'all will get X'd out very quickly. You know, like don't, you gotta grow. And then I saw someone that was visibly and knowledgeably getting paid way much more money than I was making, doing something that I was like, yo, I could do that. Right? And so granted, you know, illogical, big-eyed make, you know what I'm saying, at the time, I'm in there like, you know, let me ask around, hey, how do I start doing that kind of work? Not knowing that that's not what you do.
Right.
You don't ask about anybody else's role when you in that environment. But no one told me that. No one coached me up on that. No one grabbed me up early in and said, yo, this is how you do it. And that's when I knew that I was different.
Got you.
That's when I knew.
That's how I knew.
That's how I knew.
As Nip would say.
As Nip would say. I just knew that my ambition and my grit to try to get more in every environment was eventually going to take me out of these controlled corporate settings. So I had no choice. Like, entrepreneurship was never a choice. It was destiny. Real talk. Like, I had my personality. Of course, I'm a natural leader. I'm empathetic and I'm compassionate about people. But in certain structures, I love to know that I'm impacting something just greater than my small role. I'm a team player, right?
Definitely.
Former athlete, whatever. Great. I play my role. I could be a role player if you need me to. I could be Jordan if you need me to, whatever. In that environment, I felt as though they were literally giving me responsibility and yanking it away at the same time. And that shit I ain't like.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
You're not about to do that to me.
Yeah. You're stifling creativity. You're stifling everything
how can
that
I
could
grow?
be.
Like, how can I really
stifling
grow?
the value that I could be bringing here.
Don't do that. Like, so it's so interesting to hear your side of the, you know, radio station world work. And like my experience, because I didn't know that. But yeah, man, and I always said that when I do get to the place of success and, you know, just like the impact that I know it's ahead of me, when they do invite me back to speak on that platform, right? It's gonna, like, I really don't want to be the guy that starts like bashing the whole department. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be that guy.
I know.
Because, but that energy is definitely bottled up. Bro, I still got the message. To be honest with you, they let me go. They let me go. Crazy enough,
the best thing they could have done for you, though.
The best thing, peep how serendipity in life happened. They let me go on a Thursday, right? I got let go on a Thursday, got the call, still got the voicemail on my phone to this day, from 2016, still got the voicemail. Got the call, had to return the keys to like the warehouse where all the station vehicles were, because we were on the promotion team, we were doing all the street team stuff. So I had to give back my keys and whatnot. Met up with this dude, Seahawks in Jersey. Had to drive 45 hours. Had to drive 45 minutes to drop off the keys.
Yep.
To literally relinquish my responsibilities. Cool. Did that. And that Tuesday, right, I had been on tour with John Bellion, right? Through a friend of mine named B Keys, who I was managing. He was the opener on the tour. I got let go on a Thursday from one of the largest media companies in America, and I was touring around the country for almost 2 years with John on Tuesday, starting Tuesday. Damn. So the way how life happened, because that Thursday, that Thursday night, I was going to a concert in New York, right? In Philly it was. So I drove down to the concert, and they asked me like, yo, we see what everything you've been doing with the video and the marketing. Yo, Keys needs someone to help him on tour. Yo, would you come? I'm out.
That's dope.
I ain't have no obligations at that time. Like
Yep.
literally, the previous organization had relinquished me of my duties. So now I had the freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had that opportunity, and I felt like I was in this moving unit of young people making impact, because when you're, one thing I didn't know about the tour life and like having a musician guiding, right, and a successful musician that is a business, like that musician is a business.
Definitely.
It's a business.
Definitely.
Like, and every individual around him that musician choose to keep around him is a department.
I was just about to say they're a department.
They're a department,
Yep.
right? You have your marketing department, your
Yep.
sales department,
Yep.
media,
Yep.
content,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Accounting.
Yep.
Everything is a department. So if you're an artist out there and you got a bunch of bozos around you, that's your infrastructure of your business, bro.
Not solid.
Like you got to be really, really keen about the people and the personnel you put into your organization. Being on that tour really showed me what it was like to create a business and have an individual that was the talent is the CEO, right? Yeah, you can have a manager that could serve as, but if the talent stopped talenting, you ain't in business.
Company going down.
The company's down, right? Chalk it up. So what I learned was, leaving, like being let go of the corporate structure and getting into an independent lane where now you really have to eat what you kill. It became infectious. It became yo, damn, like I'm valuable. Because when I stopped doing what I'm doing, battery just died. Got paused. Damn.
It's all good.
Heard that shit. This is very interesting.
Yeah, so the way I got into
you jumped
sales,
into let's introduce it. So sales is something that within life is a skill. It's people overlook the idea of sales.
Definitely.
And sales is in everything. There's sales in sales and marketing is in everything.
Look, you're either selling something or you're selling yourself, right?
Facts.
Even if you go for a job interview, you got to sell yourself in order to get the job. And so, for me, back in school, I was trying to find the easiest classes possible. I went on ratemyprofessor.com. I found this one course. It was a sales course. I'm like, yo, that's it. That's for me. Everybody's saying it's easy. I'm going into that.
So all right. So you went and you were like filling out your college apps.
Yeah.
You was like,
no. I was already in school. Right. I had already started school, and I needed
studying what?
Music.
Okay.
I was trying to do music management.
Got you. Right.
And,
sport management here.
Right.
Right. Let's follow the culture. Follow where it's at.
So, for some of the courses that I wanted to get into for the music program, you had to play an instrument, which I did not. And so for me, it was like,
but you have the ear for music, though.
I have the ear for music. No, I had a passion for music. I have a passion.
You have a passion for music,
right? There's a difference. I have an ear for music, but like, there's a difference with the skill set of reading, playing, right? Like there's a different set of like, I'm not going to downplay what that does because you're literally.
You was Devin Miles?
I guess so.
You was Devin Miles?
But like when you're playing, right, and when you're reading, you're using a different side of your brain.
Yeah.
And so if I can't I'm not tapped into that side.
Yeah.
So for me, it was kind of like I was at a loss. Right, so looking for an easy route, rate my professor. Boom, I found this course that everybody said it was dumb easy. Happened to be a sales course. I'm like, all right, let me. But again, I'm already in school. I'm about a week, 2 weeks in, and I get to the course. I sit down, start talking to the guy, and basically he was like, "Yo, if you want to be in this course, you have to read this book within a week because I've sent this out to everybody else over the summer. You're playing catch up." The book was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. 3 days later, I had finished the book, and I was like, man, if we're going to be doing stuff like this, I'm here for it. I'm all the way here for it. Right. And fast forward, I just start really enjoying the course. I'm speaking up. My hand is always raised, right? And I'm really building rapport. But remember, though, this was just a bird course. This was just me just trying to find a bird course. So the fact that I liked it, that was just a double for me. It didn't mean like, hey, you should change this to your major. Until this individual who was the professor at the time said, yo, you kind of have a knack for this stuff. And he just kept pouring into me. It felt really weird, right? Older white guy pouring into me. I'm like, man, I'm not even really trying to be here, bro. I came here because I thought this class was going to be easy. Course, like, now you're trying to tell me to change my major. Like, whatever. You ain't really selling me. But he ended up convincing me to be in the sales competition. Now, the crazy part about it is the sales program at the time was only one of 2 sales programs in college. It was one of 2 collegiate sales programs. And he was a part of the staff that started it, right? So for him, I think he was really just trying to groom people, right? To be able to utilize a lot of these connections that he had. I didn't realize that the guy who created eBay lived in Montclair, New Jersey. He knew that guy, and he was like, yo, I can get you access to a lot of these people. Still wasn't clicking for me. It wasn't clicking. It was like, all right, whatever. I want music. And then he made me do the sales competition. Now, in order to be in the sales competition, you had to be a junior or a senior because they were bringing in actual buyers. They were bringing in who do this stuff for a living.
Right.
And so when I pulled up to that part of the campus that day, I'm looking at Bentleys, all types of.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
all sales.
Oh, yeah.
All sales.
Yeah. Check this out.
Crazy.
Me in my oversized suit, my super baggy gray suit.
You got the thick tie on. Bruh, you had the chunky tie.
I had the skinny tie, but it was tied crooked. I'll never forget him fixing it for me. Like having one of those moments and talking to me, and I was like, "This is a pregame pep talk." It felt great though. I won't lie. It felt great. It felt like I was a part of something. And then the competition happened. I came in 3rd place, right, as a freshman.
Was that your first time in a competitive environment, in an academic competitive atmosphere?
I mean, I guess so on that scale, yes, right? But I mean, as a kid, I won some spelling bees and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Some simple stuff. But
in your mature years.
Yeah, on that scale, hell yeah. Because I was shying away from anything that took a lot of effort, right? I wasn't going towards he wasn't going to try to put me in no comp. Like, I'm good. Right. I love music, man. That was it. So, yeah, it was definitely new for me. But when I came in 3rd place, it was like, and to know that, right, like my professor didn't have anything to do with it.
Right.
It was everyone that he had brought in that was like, seeing me and seeing all this stuff. And they didn't know that I was a freshman. Mm-hmm. So when they voted for me and I got up there, that's what really spoke to me. It was like, oh,
it's noticeable.
I could really do this. Yeah. Then one guy pulled me to the side. He worked for ThyssenKrupp, the elevator company. He gave me his card. And was like, listen, when you get out of here, I got a job lined up for you. Remember, he thinks I'm a junior or a senior.
Yeah.
So he's like, you could leave now and we could start working. He was offering me numbers and everything. And I was like, I'm going to keep your card, but like, I'm a freshman, dude. I haven't even made this my major yet. Type, like, that's where I was at with it. And what's that? My bad. What kind of card was it? No, card. Card. He gave me his business card. So he gave me that, and I'm like, yo, this is something that I could see, right, a future in, because other people see that I fit in this space.
Right.
The other thing is it's natural for me.
Yeah.
Right. Like I didn't study. I showed up late. I'll never forget it. I showed up late. I showed up
to
late
pitch,
to the competition.
your competition?
I was not enthusiastic about being there. I didn't understand the opportunity that was being awarded to me. I didn't see the value in it. For me, it was more work that this guy was trying to get me to do, and all I wanted to do was get a bird course.
Right.
I didn't want more work.
Right.
I did not want more work. I literally went on ratemyprofessor.com to find the easiest course I could take. And now here you are, got me in competitions and whatnot. To my adolescent mind not having have been as developed as it should have been, I wasn't trying to do all that until then when it really clicked. And the guy gave me a business card and told me like, yo, you could be making X, Y, and Z amount every single year right now. And I'm like, that sound kind of good.
Sound kind of good. Yeah, absolutely.
Sound kind of great, actually.
Absolutely.
So, for me, and thankfully, right, I had and I will attest to this, to the day that I die, the power of a black woman behind a black man is always going to be something that should be heralded, because I had a girlfriend at the time. And so speaking to her,
definitely big
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She was the one who, you know what I'm saying, really put the battery in my back. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a difference when
she saw the opportunity you couldn't see.
Man, she was just saying like, because she kept saying like, yo, you should be a lawyer, you should be a lawyer, you should be a lawyer, because of the way that I can argue anything. And then when she saw that, I remember going and being like, yo, dude gave me his card. He talking about I could do this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And I remember her being like, that's it. I was like, what's it? She was like, that's what you need to be. It's like, what? She was like, whatever it is that they trying to give you a job for. I don't know what the title of it is, but that's what you need to be.
What was the title associated?
It was sales, right?
I would
be in sales associate for Thyssen Corp. Yeah. And, you know, there were certain tricks and things that I had to learn to be able to convince, right? Like, all right, so I'll tell people something, right? Here's a very simple hack that salespeople have figured out. So check this out. When you're selling elevators to somebody, one of the main things that you want to sell as an accessory is mirrors. The reason being is because there's something called a recall, right? And so every time you hit the elevator button, the recall starts. Now, most people, if you're in one of these big buildings that's buying elevators and shafts and whatnot, most people are going to hit that recall button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many times until they feel like the elevator's coming, right? Everybody's standing there like, come on, man, it's got to go. You're actually disrupting the recoil, right? Because you keep punching that button. So the lifespan of that button is now diminishing. That means there's more maintenance because we guarantee maintenance for up to a certain time. Yep. That's more work for us. So what we do is we upsell. I'm saying we like I work there. We upsell.
Natural.
Right? By giving you mirrors, which we tell the business owner will add to the aesthetic of the building. But really what it's doing is it's hacking human nature. If I sell you mirrors with this elevator, instead of somebody hitting a button 5, 6, 7 times, they're going to hit the button, then step back, make sure that they look good, take a couple seconds, make sure everything's okay.
Yep.
They're thinking about something else. And now that button, the lifespan of it, the lifespan of your shaft, your elevator, all that stuff is now extended.
Increased. Yep.
Just because we added these mirrors here.
Yep.
And so there were certain tricks and things that I was able to learn and to figure out and to be like, oh, I could sell that easily.
Yeah.
I can convince people that this is why you need these mirrors.
Yo, it's crazy that you had that experience. Yo, bro, I swear we're aligned in so many ways that I'm just learning. Like, you had this like sales pitch competition experience, and like I had something of similar equivalence, but it was in the marketing and advertising space. So I worked with this organization called the One Club for Creativity. Well, I actually was, so funny enough, I hacked my way into a job with them, but I'll tell you how. The One Club of Creativity is like the Grammy Award committee, but for the advertising industry.
Got you.
They're like the Olympic committee.
I've seen all the.
Yes. All yeah. So this
state to state.
Yeah. I was flown around the country, like literally flying around the country, pitching campaigns to the biggest brands in the world. Dunkin' Donuts, like Truth Campaign, the Stop Smoking.
Got you.
All these brands. And when we got to New York, there was one in New York at this big it's a digital agency called RGA. The client was Verizon, and we did a crazy pitch. We won that campaign, and I had done 4 of these pitches up until the 5th one in New York. When we won in New York, they offered me a job. Right? They were like, yo, we saw your thinking. We scouted you over these 4 different pitch competitions.
That's
and
dope.
We saw that your level of like insight and like you always try to bring some cultural tone to these campaigns.
That's dope.
We
That's dope.
really appreciate that. So funny enough, like they came along and offered me a job. Pretty much like, and my job was so this. If I was gonna have a job, yep,
that's
it would be
the
doing
job
the
you
shit
wanted.
that I was
I
doing,
feel you.
bro.
I feel
if
you.
I'm gonna work anywhere, it was gonna be at the One Club.
That's how I felt.
And I dropped their name because I championed that organization.
Yeah.
Because you don't really understand, like I was really rewiring what makes a Super Bowl commercial a Super Bowl commercial. Like what makes an advertising sticky, what makes something contagious, what makes something really, really like pull on your emotional strings.
Yeah.
Right. And when you understand that, oh, you talking about the black dollars. We got it. When you understand what makes people emotionally attached to things, bro, it's powerful.
Definitely.
Like you can manipulate a lot of things. Advertising sort of is a manipulative game, right? But I try to say I'm a marketer that doesn't manipulate with malice. Like there's no malice in my marketing at all. Like I'm not trying to get you to do anything that would be, out of the scope of what you would do as a human. Like I'm trying to do it with the proper intentions.
I'm trying to convince you, not coerce you.
Yeah. So it's so interesting hearing your story about the sales competition and like knowing that like, yo, across the world and somewhere I was here in my journey.
Yeah, that's dope.
Doing this, it was like, wow, like, bro, and it's like I said, it's divine timing.
Yeah, man.
Really
Like I said,
divine.
that was why I hit you, right? It was because
Yo,
like,
let's
you
talk
know,
about how we like this
Cam.
year. I ain't gonna, bro. I'm telling you, man. Yo, this is the year of elevation. Like, sadly, it has been some isolation from some old things, but the elevation and what's coming from now, bro. Because we were always in the same room, but we never really
same circles, know so many of the same people,
right?
But never had a genuine sit down conversation.
Yeah,
never built, never more than just a head nod or
like yo, I see you.
Yeah,
like,
that
yo,
was it.
Salute.
That was it. And you know what's crazy is right. I think that's something that is indicative to our culture.
Yeah,
right. As black men in the culture, we're often sequestered to ourselves. We're so used to not letting certain people in our small, tight-knit circle, right? We go with that if you ain't day one type of situation, right? And so it's so funny that you say like isolation for elevation, because I've had that, right? I had a business. This business, I started by myself, but I gave one of my day ones an opportunity to invest in, right? Not only did they not come up with the funds for investing, right? So I had to carry they said that they was down, signed up, we did the paperwork, all of that. I had to carry the load of paying the entire thing for the investment,
the startup,
right? To make it all happen. All of the sales, 100% of the sales were attached and attributed to me,
to your investment,
my brand, me. People bought from me because of me.
Right.
Everybody who bought, including his own cousin, bought and contacted me personally, right? This individual, they had a smaller stake in the company, right? Because you ain't do nothing, so you signed up because I could do this by myself.
Right.
But I'm the type of person where I want to bring my people with me.
Right.
So I gave them an opportunity to have 20% in the company. That's a huge amount.
It's max.
It's a huge amount, right?
Massive.
20% in this company. Because I do it for impact, not income, right? So cool. I'm gonna bring my mans with me. This individual decided that he would alleviate over 50% of the funds from our bank account. And so I had to isolate to elevate.
You had to.
I had no choice. He cut himself off, right? Like betrayal can't be rewarded with anything but isolation.
Right.
And so I totally understand, right, the isolation for elevation, which is also another reason why I reached out on some like, yo, let's just link and build.
Because there's something going on over there.
Said,
and
it's kindred spirits. I said, yo, like we could at the very least, we could have a good conversation. That was what I knew. I was like, I don't know what I'm looking for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what this whole purpose is, but I don't make New Year's resolutions, right? But this year, I made a decision that I wanted to be more empathetic. I wanted to have and build more relationships. I wanted to actually network with people, because the only difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is the people that the billionaire can call.
Fact.
That's the only difference.
Fact.
When you are a billionaire, when you are a billionaire, you have a string of millionaires that you can call. And so I looked at my contact list and I said, I know a lot of millionaires who just ain't got the money yet.
Yeah.
I know a lot of millionaires whose check hasn't been written to them just yet.
Yep.
But I can look at people and see potential.
You can see. Like, it's very
I'm
clear.
a visionary.
It is very clear.
So I can see things in the making.
Yeah.
And so I looked at the people that I knew, and I did the due diligence, right? I went on your page and I was like, because we've been following each other and we comment here and there or whatever. But I studied your page and I started looking at the captions, the things that you were saying, the way that you were positioning it. And I was like, oh, this dude ain't just selling hand sanitizer. He actually building a brand.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. It's deeper. He's not doing this just for the one, like the sum of whatever. Like, this is a grandiose operation that he's building here. The first thing I got to do is pay respect to that, right? So that's the first thing.
And much is appreciated.
Of course,
always,
man. Of course,
always.
because you know what it is too? I know what those lonely nights and those self conversations look like. I know what it feels like to have a staff meeting up here and to be arguing with everybody.
The mental board meeting.
Yeah, and don't nobody get along. And you're like, we all the same person. How we can't make a? But I know what that's like.
But you have to have those many voices. I got you. But the thing is, you have to have. Here's the thing: when you're a solo entrepreneur, right? Although you have the support, you have so many people standing on the fence that's rooting you on while you're in the trenches digging this tunnel, and these golden shovels are lined up along the fence, but people are just there like, yo, keep digging.
I see you. That's the favorite word. That's the favorite word is I see you.
I see them shovels, but yo, you keep digging. Yo, keep digging. Yeah. So like, yo, in that position, it's like, yo, bro, it's having that mental board, having that internal board meeting. You have to have these voices, because every idea to a vision, like every idea is gonna be a great idea, but when you don't have someone that you can credibly bounce it off, that's gonna give you the feedback that you need. Like, everybody can't be a yes man. You can't have yes men around you is no go. No go.
I'm allergic to yes men.
You can't. You really, where we're going, where we've come from, where we are and where we're going, bro. We really cannot have yes men around us. We have to have people that challenge the way we think and see about things. And to your point of what you mentioned about the girlfriend that you had at that moment. Sometimes what we need, we find that in women, in the women that we're with, really many times.
100%.
But also, too, sometimes we can be so stubborn into even identifying that shit.
Definitely. I think that there's something to be said about divine feminine energy and about a man being willing to be led by such. Right. So I think that it's very telling when it says that, like, the man is the head of the household. It doesn't say that he's the leader of the household. It means that you're the head of the household. And that just means that the bulk of the responsibility falls on you. Right. There's a saying about most young kings have their heads chopped off. Right. Because if you're not equipped, equipped to run that kingdom.
That's me.
Right. And so that's why a man is the head of the household. But any man can be led by the right woman.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't the leader of the household. You just the head of the household. Means the responsibility for a lot of the shit falls on your shoulders, right? You got to bear that, because women were built with childbearing hips.
Yeah.
A man is built with bearing shoulders.
Right.
And so there's a lot that falls on you.
You talking.
But you got to be able to have guidance.
This is
got to be able to have guidance.
This is speech.
If you want to
Yes,
reach divinity, you got to take divine feminine energy, right? Like, you have to have that. I'm a proponent of that. That's why I got a girl. That was why, because I went through a point in time when I was like, yo, I need more divine feminine energy around me. Yeah. Thank God for my sisters who have been able to guide me, right? Like, I have some sisters that are super, super important in my life. Some of my best and greatest friends are women, and I've learned that allowing their influence to be in my life has caused me to make some of the most renowned and best decisions that I could have never seen. Right. I wouldn't have even seen that as a decision until they said it. And then I was like, you're right. You're 100%. So yeah, no, I definitely agree that it's important for men to be able to hear, recognize, acknowledge, respect, and adhere to the divine feminine energy. Not everything.
Yeah.
But know when it's coming from a divine space. And so I'm so grateful for my ex. I will always have compassion for her because of the simple fact that she saw fit to be able to, right, drive my passion into a new lane. And so, yeah, man, I couldn't agree with that statement more.
Yo, I think too, man, it's so many mixed bags that someone could sit in today's, like, media climate, because there's so many mixed messages. Right, when it comes to the role of where women really sit in a I mean, call it what it is, right? In a high impact, like in like ambitious male's life, right? Like when we're doing these things and, like, we're pulling down low hanging fruit, we're accomplishing some goals, we're checking off some boxes on the list, like we're doing some things, like we're doing okay, and it's like, yo, sometimes you really can be so, like, focused on the road ahead that you don't really realize that you need that person, that cart that's keeping you that keeping you afloat.
Balanced.
The balance.
The balance is what it is.
I mean, for me, I it's something that can we get the make for off cam? You know what I'm saying, shout out Kishon off cam, man. I'm really trying to learn this, and I think as I grow, and I also think too sometimes like I want to become the person that I envision becoming, and sometimes I think that we can sort of check out of the game too early, right? And I feel like it's I sit in this weird place. Because there have been some phenomenal women that have come along in my life, right? That I have literally been the culprit to dead, right? Like I have been was an idiot in certain situations, but I look back at it now, of course, with no regrets. You live and you learn, and I'm still progressing in my life and my career, my path, my passions and everything. But damn, like
I feel like because we've all made those mistakes, and to me, I just feel like as men we were underdeveloped, right? I feel like that's what it was. We're underdeveloped, and so someone can't necessarily enjoy or digest, right, the things that we may have to offer, and we may cause them food poisoning. You look at it like steak, right? Like you can have a steak in a bunch of different ways, and so if we're not fully developed, right, if we ain't fully cooked yet, and we try to get in on that plate with that woman who's putting that garnish or whatever, and it's still blood bleeding off, it ain't gonna look the right. It's not gonna be. You're not gonna be able to digest it. So I just say that there's been a lot of times as a man that I've been underdeveloped and haven't been wise enough to maximize on the woman's presence in my life, and I'm blessed now to be able to be planning with a woman who is an entrepreneur, who is ambitious, who does have her things together. Who I told her this, I was like, yo, the reason why I wifed you was because you was a threat, like straight up. Yo, if I didn't wife you, was gonna end up being competition. Yeah, I took out the competition. Yeah, by wifing it. Yeah, like I see what you doing. I see your potential, and you younger than me, and you a woman. Nah, come here. Yeah, come here.
You're the future. The future is in your hands. Like,
yo, if I ever wanted to become a ghost, I could, because I could just sit back and simply continue to invest in my woman. Yeah, and let her be the empire that she is destined to be. Man, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. You know how much faith that gives me to be able to say, like, because I'm not in a position when I'm ready to sit back. Right now, I want to be able to like I want to be able to run faster than I've ever ran. I want to be able to go with less direction. Right, like sometimes when you run in this race, you always feel like I need to have the right amount of direction. Like, nah, now I can run with whatever it is that I'm obsessed with, because I have a team player. Yep. I have somebody else that's building with me. Yep. And so if I run into a wall and hit my head and collapse everything, I still have someone else that is building there, and I'm good. I can fall back on that. I can rely on that for a little bit while I pick my pieces up, dust my head off, and do all. You know how powerful that is?
That's super powerful.
That's why I'm already thinking about 2023. This year's done for me.
Yo, how do you overcome those ideas of like relinquishing control over the things, like relinquishing control into someone else's hands? Like that's I think that struggle
I'll tell you when I figure it out.
We face.
I'll tell you when I figure it out.
Tell you when you figure it out. Right, you're still going through it.
I will tell you when I figure it out, because back to the whole stigma of a black man thing, right? There's oftentimes that we've seen betrayal. Right, like I think that there's.
I mean, you faced it,
right? Right, and that ain't the first time. But I think that has something to do with, I think our genetic makeup and DNA from where we come from has a lot to do with us not wanting to relinquish power and control. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that I've realized is, this is the one thing that I have realized about that, is the best way to relinquish power is to empower. Right, yeah. I'm going to relinquish power by empowering someone else with the ability to do things that I trust them to do, and so that is the key to me, because it takes time to empower someone. I have to know you. I have to know kind of what makes you tick. I have to figure out your why, how you move, and then empower you to be better than you already are at something.
Right.
And once I do that, and once I can trust that process, once I can trust that there's a system in place, and secondly is accountability.
Yeah.
You have to have systems of accountability. And you know, with my old partner, I tried to establish one by just being like, yo, look, we be saying we're going to do stuff and then we don't get it done. This is what we're going to do. We're going to each put $1,000 into this pot. And then if we don't do it, like that money gets taken and we get like, I was trying to build these systems of accountability, but I got betrayed before those things could come into place. And I was also trying to build to empower him. But betrayal came and slapped me in the face first, you know, before that. And so I think that's right, bringing it all back full circle. That's one of the reasons why I reached out to you, is because we had a neutral relationship, but I saw kindredness there. I saw like-mindedness. And so it was like, yo, you know, this is somebody who I could speak to. And then if we ever tried to collab with anything, we could hold each other accountable for
Absolutely.
that, because there's no years of history of friendship that says, well, he got to be my friend because we done been doing this for too long. Nah. Be on your A game or I'm out.
Right.
Like, and
right.
we can have that.
Facts.
And that's what really makes, right, like a great relationship. I look at you, a team player, right? Like, you understand that sports dynamics,
Yep.
right? You look at certain people and you wonder, like, how is it? Yo, check out. Like, I think one of my favorite moments, or one of the most iconic, you know, pictures is D Wade with the
over LeBron. When
yes,
LeBron, yeah,
because he celebrated without looking back. It's like, nah, I know my man's got it. We good.
Yeah.
Like, how do you understand that? Like,
Yep.
to be able to just
roll it right back.
To be able to know that someone is accountable, to be able to know, right, the ability in the person behind you, right? Like, to be able to celebrate before they even, right?
That's
like,
trust.
That
like,
you've built something there.
Yeah.
And that don't come from years of friendship. That comes from practice in the game, like understanding mentality, knowing what someone is going to do. And so I think that
and also an equal level of work done on each of their sides.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like
100%.
Each of those men in that image were prepared. Like, they put in enough work on their sides,
100%.
coming together in the same force. The chemistry was like through the roof.
100%.
You know?
And so I just knew.
I think, man, yo, I really appreciate you reaching out, and I'm glad you reached out to me, because eventually I would have either reached out to you too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so crazy because, like, with you being such the deliverer of the information that you were giving out, like, I'm finding myself on your page a lot more, you know, than you. So I'm like, yo, is anybody else hearing what he's? I'm just wondering, like, is anybody else seeing the shift in what because I thought, again, I never assume to know anybody, right? Unless I speak to the person, I never assume anything, especially when it comes to our digital world. Yeah, assumptions can lead to places like you can try to think you know someone, but you could really just be misconstruing.
This digital world is nothing but filtered perfections.
Right. Super facts. Super perfectly said. So seeing you now delivering all the information, I'm just wondering, like, oh, word, like, all right, yo, like, and I seen like you change your name to Kent King, so I'm like, all right, well, not DJ Dark Kent no more. So I'm like, all right, there's like an evolution here, but I'm like, wonder, do I reach out like, yo, do I reach out like Dark Kent? Like, do I reach out?
Right.
So when I saw the whole shift, I'm like, yo, well, okay. He's clearly giving away this information. He's clearly knowledgeable. He's clearly studied, right? Like, cool. So when you reached out to me, I was like, oh, well, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. And then the conversation that we had from then to now affirmed everything that I thought I was seeing before we spoke.
Everything
was affirmed. Like everything was affirmed. So this right here was just literally another checkpoint in that process.
People don't know, but this is a converse. This is like we were due to have one of these conversations, right? Because we kind of schedule like, yo, got to tap in.
Yep.
And we'll tap in from time to time. This is nothing but another tap in.
Yep.
Of like, yo, I need to be able to speak to somebody who's of like mind and to be able to have a conversation and to be able to just build and to just not be so stuck in my staff meeting. Yeah. Right. So this symbiotically was going to happen regardless.
Yes.
It's just that now we recorded this shit.
It's done the right way. Yeah, it's done the right way, and we can share this. With people that aren't, on the Zoom call or on the FaceTime or on the phone or you know what I'm saying. So
without my girl trying to walk in the room in some lingerie, that was a whole moment that I was like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm building here. I'm having a conversation. You look great, but damn, like that's what I'm trying to have happen right now. But shit.
Yo, what made you want to move to Atlanta?
Longevity, right? So long term, number one, I am tired of this cold. I'm back here.
Oh man. Yo, I feel you. I feel that. I feel that deeply, yo.
So to be honest with you, right, Atlanta is really just my midway point. Long term, I want to go to Cali, right? I don't want to have to be stuck anywhere. I want to be able to just develop some properties and be able to go wherever I want to go, right? I'm the type of person where I exist within myself. Wherever I'm at is home, right? I can make home anywhere. So Atlanta for me was a midway point because number one, I knew that I can get more bang for my buck as far as value of buying a home, right? I'm at the point now where I'm looking for tax havens, right, where I can put some money that I've made into something that can be a dope tax haven and can be leveraged when I need it to.
Yep.
But I'd rather do that and get the most bang for my buck. Unfortunately, right now, New Jersey's not the best place for that. Secondly, with me wanting to go way across country, it made more sense to do a halfway point because I can move my mom down there. And so now, as opposed to me traveling 6 hours back and forth from Cali to Jersey, it's a little bit shorter to go from Cali to Atlanta.
Right.
And so also because I already have family down there, it just really made sense. And then my girl has family down there. So, and this is, a super testament to having the right woman behind you because it's one of those things that I would have talked about doing but never really done. But because I have this partner who has divine feminine energy, and when I tell her that I'm going to do something, I have to do it.
Yeah.
In order for her to have faith in me, I have to make good on the things that I say.
He talking.
So when so when I say like, yeah, we gonna move to Atlanta, that can't just be a wish and a dream, right? Like that has to be something that really happens. And so we made that happen. We got super comfortable. The only bad part about us living in Atlanta is I've seen more of Atlanta when I visited there than I have living there. Because me and my girl so comfortable in our crib, we don't go nowhere. Like we got our office space, our bedroom, our living room, our kitchen. That is it. And then in our complex is everything we need. Everything we need. We got a whole.
I see the gym work. I see,
we have a podcast room in our complex.
Oh, they're very accommodating.
Yeah, there's an actual space that we can go and record podcasts at.
See, that's gangster.
Why would I go anywhere else?
There's no need to do anything.
So you know what I'm saying? That's the only bad thing about me living down there is I don't get out. I don't go nowhere.
Well, I know. When I come down there, we definitely got to. Check out that podcast.
We're gonna build, bro. We're gonna build.
Yeah,
we're gonna build. I'm gonna actually go out when you come down there because we're gonna network. I know too many people. So
honestly, I should be out there next month.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen, bro. I'll be there. I'll be there. We're gonna build. That's not a question. You already know that.
Yo, I wanna jump into this like last topic, man.
Yeah.
We literally could do this for a long time.
Like I said, people don't know that this is just us.
Yeah, like seriously, like it's just rolling now. But literally, this is just a build.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I said, in the it's not. This isn't an interview. It's an exchange.
I love that too.
You know what I'm saying? It's an exchange, man. And the value that I'm telling you, but listening to you speak. It's so refreshing. It's super refreshing. It's affirming of like knowing that like, yo, one, I'm not alone. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it's about. It's like knowing that you're not alone, knowing that there's movers, shakers, and makers out here. Like from the cloth you're cut from the environment that you're cut from that can ascend and do phenomenal things.
Yep.
Real talk. Because it's it's good to be someone that is inspiring to other people, right? Like you also need inspiration too.
Yo, life is like, when we run through this life, it's like we're batteries. You know what I'm saying? And, having as much energy as you have to be able to give, you need to be able to be replenished. Yeah. Right? You need that has to come full circle. And so this is a replenishing conversation.
Yes, sir.
And we have these we have these conversations and I feel recharged. Like my battery, even if it don't be about nothing of us like doing any type of business, even if we just like, yo, what you got going on? This is what I got going on. Okay, cool. Break.
It's the access to the exposure.
Yo.
Right? Like, bro, like what we shared off camera, like that exposure to know that that's happening is like, it's mind blowing. You're going to return back to your desk with a whole nother level of focus.
I'm telling you, bro.
I'm going to return back to my desk like with a whole nother level of focus.
Every time I see you be posting stuff and I know where your trajectory is heading, I'll be like, yo, I'll be but I'm one of those weird dudes that I like to see other people win. So it makes me excited. Like it makes me excited to see shit like that.
Bro, it's few people. I'm telling you, and I am like that as well. Yeah. Bro, it be to the point where I get calls from some of my homies, bro. I almost be giving ready to go. I be like, I'm so happy.
I've had those moments, of just being like, oh, my nigga's gonna win.
Like
my man's is going to win.
Like that win is my win. Yo, that's genuinely how I look at it.
Facts, bro.
And the thing is, I've been told that by people that really have shown me that that's not the truth on their side. Like I've seen people say like, yo, when you win,
I can feel it though. I've learned to start being able to feel authenticity, right, and empathy from people because there's always like potential for a hint of jealousy. There's always that potential there, but when someone's empathetic and authentic, it comes across. Yeah. That's one of those things that like you can't put into words. It's literally just a feeling, a vibe or whatever that it translates. It's a part of energy that translates to be like, nah, this is authentic. Like you're authentically happy for me. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're empathetically happy for me. And so there's a difference. That's why you feel that emotion.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. And I really know that I know, you know what it really is too, yo. It's like, we know what it's hard. It's like we work hard.
Yeah, man.
Like you work hard, bro. Yeah. Like I see you. Like I've been on one. The private calls we've had, and I know the hours you put in obsessing about small tweaks that will make the major differences. And like that, I'm telling you, yo. I sat at a friend, a snow day, right? Snow cleared up a little bit. One of my homeboys called me like, yo, get out the crib. Yo, just come through, pull up, though. Let's just vibe. Know what I mean? All right, bet. Cool. So I went to go link, and I brought my laptop, right? And because I work. Like, I get a pleasure out of progressing the things that I build, right? And I want to see them win. So doing that kind of work, I'm working. I'm obsessed about this, like, just on calls, doing my emails, messaging, da-da-da-da. And he's sitting there, it inspires him to get up and, like he wants to start a thrift thing. So he's taking his photos, lining up images. And I'm like, I'm getting excited about that. I'm like, yeah, I see you. Like, I see, like, yeah. And like where I'm going with it was like taking that stance to be, I'm kind of losing my train of thought, bro.
Nah, I get what you're saying.
I'm trying to lose my thing.
I get what you're saying when it's like, yo, taking that stance to be in that position of trying to offer someone some sort of inspiration. Right? When taking that stance to be right in a position of leadership or in a position of influence or in a position to impact someone,
it means a lot to me. Yo.
I get you.
It really means a lot, man. And
I totally understand that.
And it's a privilege. It's really it's a duty.
Yeah.
Right? It's a duty. Yeah. It's a duty to do that,
I say this all the time. I say success is your duty.
Yeah, right.
Right? I got that from Grant Cardone, and I got that because he had it written on the side of his private jet. And I was like,
it's like, yo.
That's a different statement, right? That's a different, like, and it comes, that man has never put his hands on me a day in his life, right. But seeing that knocked me out. Yeah. Like seeing that felt like he just, and I was like, oh, yeah, success is my duty. Whoa.
Yeah.
And so I Completely agree, bro. I completely agree. But you said you wanted to talk on something else before we it was one other topic.
Yo, just lastly,
Yeah.
Major thing I want to talk about with you, man, and on this particular platform is just kind of like really and truly, I think it's important to highlight like becoming who we want to be. Right?
Yo.
Like the becoming and like what that really looks like in terms of like the social signals that people latch on to as the signs of success and what it takes to really like evolve into the person that you need to be, that's going to achieve the results, is going to do the things, live the lifestyle that you need to be. Like what for you, what has that been like?
I had a quote that I started saying to myself to kind of keep myself on track. And it is double down on who you are and not who society wants you to be. Like double down on who you are as an individual to the core of yourself and not what you think society wants you to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we talk about what society wants me to be, general,
that's a gem. That's a bar.
General society says I'm a black man, so therefore I am a thug. I am someone, I'm a drug dealer. I am someone who's supposed to be in prison. That's what general society sees me as. Smaller, right, going from macro to micro, smaller society says you're an entertainer, you're a DJ, you're a guy that plays records, and you're in clubs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But who I actually am is someone who wants to make impact.
This is fucking good. This is great. This is amazing now.
And so that's why I started doing what I could do on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like, I'm going to make an impact wherever I can be felt. There's a Jim Rohn said, there's a joke about a priest or a preacher who set up, tents, right? He went around town passing out flyers, telling people he was going to preach his first sermon, right? And on the day that that it was all supposed to happen, he had built the tents, passed out the flyers. Only one person showed up, and that one person was a farmer. And so the preacher gets down and he asks the farmer, he says, "Yo, I did all this work. I passed out the flyers. I built the tents. What should I do?" The farmer says, "I ain't no preacher. I'm just a farmer. But if I set the food out to feed my cows and only one of them showed up, I would feed it." And so the preacher went up there. He starts preaching. Hour later, he's still preaching. 2 hours later, he's still preaching. 3 hours later, he's still preaching. He finally comes down and he says, "What did you think?" And the farmer says, again, "I ain't no preacher. I'm just a farmer.
Yep.
But if only one of my cows showed up, I wouldn't feed it all the food that I had." And so that to me always kept me on some like, no matter who's there watching, you never know what impact you're going to have. And so that was really my synergy moment of being like, double down on who you are and not who society wants you to be. And so that, to answer your question, right, would be it. Double down on who you are and not who society wants you to be, because there's another one that says you can get honey from a honeybee, you can get sugar from a sugar bee, but you can't get shit from a wannabe. So, you know what I'm saying?
So that's a fact, bro. Like facts, like super facts. But I think that many times people just have this like a confusion of identity, right? So in the parts of us where we're becoming the person that we want to be, it's like, you sometimes get lost. You really get lost in who you are, right? And if you like, you have to. I tell people like, you have to like violently deneuralize your image of self in people's minds. Like who people see you as has to change entirely, because they now have to not see you as who they always have known you to be, and change and see you as who you want them to see you as.
I'll take it a step further. One of the things that I realize is detaching yourself from what people see you as is one thing, but you need to not see value in their opinion of you.
Facts.
Like I can't see value in someone else's, and I'll never forget it. I had a woman who was working with me, and she couldn't understand why I stopped DJing. She could not understand it.
Right.
And I had built the loft, the original loft, 4,000 square feet building, warehouse, wooded floors, like event space, studio, chill out room, stripper pole in there. Like I was at photography room. I had done all of that. And she couldn't and I brought her to work with me. I gave her an opportunity to work there. And she couldn't see me as more than a DJ. And the relationship didn't work. Didn't work at all. There was no value that we could add to each other because in her mind, I was a DJ. But I couldn't let that. I couldn't have found value in her perspective of me.
Right.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't sit there and be like, well, damn, all of these people see me. It was difficult. It was a bunch of people who were like that, to be totally honest, which was a whole shit ton of people who was like, well, you're a DJ, so you gonna stop DJing? That's crazy. What you mean? What's this? Like, but I couldn't find value in their opinion of me at all. I had to double down on who I was.
Right.
And I knew that I was a guy who was destined to build things. I'm a visionary, so I could walk in a room and see something and be like, yo, if I had this space, this is how I would do it. Like this, like that, like I'm that guy. As a matter of fact, the space that I'm in now, I knew the guy who had it before me. And he called me over to celebrate him getting that space. And I was like, dude, congrats. This is amazing. Super happy for you. And because I'm a visionary, I'm walking through the space like, if I had this space, how would I do it? For my business. Not trying to take it, just looking at it just because this is a dope space. So I would set this up here. I would do this. I would do that. Blah, blah, blah. 5 years later, here I am in the space. And have expanded to get the space next door now. Visionary shit.
That's what it takes, man.
And I only see value in the image of myself, not anybody else's opinion of me, except for my girl.
Fair.
Right? Like there's a couple of people who you like.
A couple caveats.
Yeah. There's a couple of people who, if they told you that you let them down, it means something to you.
Yeah.
Right? There's a couple of people that like their opinion of you, you actually do find value in. That's just how we are. That's connection. But general public's opinion of me, I can't give that shit the time of day.
Kick rocks. I mean, it's crazy because like I think I have a gift and a curse relationship. I have like a hate-love relationship with social media, right? Super. Like, you know, I enjoy it for the information, you know, like the abundance of information. I curate my social media a certain way. Like I don't really see much bullshit on my shit. Like I see exactly what I'm looking for,
100%.
right? It's chiseled to what my interests are, everything. And like sometimes I feel as though like I've developed this behavior of just going to share stuff that I really don't even have it doesn't serve me in many ways. So I think when it comes to like that, to not to say the gratification, but like going and listening to these people's opinions or like posting something and getting the likes or whatever, the instant gratification what comes with that, I really don't need it anymore. But if for some reason I haven't been able to like slash it and slice it off and be like, you know what, I'm going to put this to bed for good. Like just kind of toss it.
But I think that's because you do get something from it, right? You do still get like some sort of value from that. The other thing is too, a lot of entrepreneurs are introverts, where we are introverted because our own personal voice, our internal monologue is so loud, we don't always need to talk to other people. Right. So I think social media has been a slight way of us still connecting with other people.
Yeah.
It's a slight little like, I ain't just listening to my own voice. I'm actually, what you're up to, what are you doing, what's this, what's that. And so for me, right, I'm so much like that I have moments where I will tap a story. I'll tap the first story on my page, on my IG page, and then just put the phone there. And I will let my IG run through story after story after story after story automatically. Why? Because sometimes I get so detached that I want people to think that I'm actually watching their stuff. I want you to think that I'm actually here and that I'm engaging, even though I'm not. My phone is there.
Right.
I'm doing something totally different, and I'm just letting it, because how many people scroll to see who saw their stuff.
Right.
And so if you see my name in there, you think that I'm a fan or a friend or whatever, I'm going to let you continue to believe that because I'm not trying to lose the connection.
Right.
I just really don't care about what it is
Yeah,
posting. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really trying
enough
to
to be super locked in, 2 eyes engaged
I'm so engaged with other shit.
Yeah.
I don't have the mental capacity to be concerned with some of the things that you're concerned with.
Right.
So for me, sometimes like, bro, listen, I have all of the social media hacks, like all of them, because I understand that like social media just showed us more of who we are as individuals. And, you know, there's an algorithm there, but I call it algorizing the algorithm, right? Like I will go on a page. I just did it the other day. I went on a page and I went on a like rampage of watches. I realized that my Explore feed didn't show me enough of mental motivations of things that I want to be able to achieve. Mm-hmm. And so I went and told the algorithm, this is what I need to see more of.
Right.
Show me watch after watch after watch after Hublot after Rolex after Bulgari. Like I need to see this. I did that for like 30 minutes to an hour just sitting there. Doop, doop,
yep.
Doop, 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 doop. Until I went back to my page, my Explore feed, and I was like, okay, now it looks like stuff that I want to see.
You know, it's another hack that's interesting. When you follow a page, right? When you follow a page, you know how they have the
pull down.
The pull down. What I usually do is like I try not to get sucked into the vacuum of liking a bunch of those pull downs from like it. Like let's say I go to like your page, right? Like your page. There's someone that is in like someone similar to the content that you share that may have something. If I follow them, I'm coming back to your page to see who else you follow. I'm not gonna go through their followers because I don't know them, right? Yep. So I'm going from your page. I'll follow someone that's associated with you, something next to that's associated with you. But I'm coming back to your page to see what
you're not going to put me on the rabbit hole. I'm not going to design the rabbit hole myself. No,
if this is in the ecosystem of Kent, I'm here.
I totally get that because I do that all the time where I'm like, nah, y'all ain't about to just have me way over here. Following low quality B versions, the variant version of this. Nah, I'm good. I want the original and anything that's as close to the original as possible. Yep. I get that. I do that all the time, bro.
Yo, so one thing I do on the show is I always leave with an idea, right? Leave with an idea. So I'm actually, I mentioned I'm doing digital products this year. I'm going to bring my first digital product out. I want to actually provide what is called outrageous PR stunts that work for social media, right? Like I literally have in my notes, I have like scrolls of like things that you can do from content to DM hacks to scripts to like ways how you can just hack attention in different ways, whether it be if you have an e-commerce business. Let's say you sell t-shirts, right? I have one of the hacks I'll drop on the show is like literally showing up to the post office and taking pictures with boxes. Just bunch of boxes going to the post. Just take pictures with your product in boxes. Yo, going to the post office, shipping them out. Just keep posting content at the post office because eventually someone's gonna come across that like, yo, damn, he's shipping out a bunch of these boxes. Let me go to the website and see what's going on. Damn, he moving a bunch of these boxes. No one's gonna jump into your photograph and say, oh nah, you're not shipping these out. You take it still, right? I'm talking about lists of guerrilla hacks. List.
Attention hacking is a
and we're gonna talk about this because this is gonna be a thing.
I got a couple, but I haven't done the round robin of mental.
Bro, literally here's the second one. I dropped one. Yo, jump into someone's DM, like you literally going to DM rampage. If you have a product service, you jump into someone's DM like, hey, congratulations, you won. Lead with that. Who ain't checking that DM?
Facts.
What? Hey, congratulations, you won.
And then a follow up, so you're not gonna claim your prize,
right? Claim your prize here. Go to the website.
So you really don't want this joint,
right? So I literally have created a list of these, and I think that they're so like because it's based on the one club. It's all human psychology. It's literally tapping into behavior, right? What is gonna make someone move exactly how you want them to move? So I'm gonna push out.
If you've read this, you got to read Invisible Influence next.
I got to check that out.
I'm telling you, it's Jonah Berger. It's the same author. It's invisible influence.
I know where it's coming from.
Yeah, why we do the things that we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
So with the Black Idea Guy podcast, man, I'm happy, bro. My brother Kent came through.
Yeah, man.
We was able to really, like
Chop it
share.
up,
Like
build.
this is not even like a I don't even want to give it a percentage of what we gonna be able to do and talk about.
This is a minuscule amount of interaction, right? That they're getting.
That's
really it.
Y'all have no idea.
That's really it.
Like no idea. Like
this for y'all.
Seriously,
this for y'all.
And hopefully the people that are watching this know that we're tapped in. Like,
man.
We're tapped.
Yeah.
So whatever like assumptions y'all want to make about what's to come from this, make those.
Yeah.
Because
facts.
like make those assumptions because we're in the universe
but
now.
just know that you're probably thinking too small.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make your assumptions, but just know you probably thinking too small.
Absolutely.
Think bigger.
You think very big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, my brother. Drop all your pleasantries, like where we can find you.
Bro, DJ
nine.
Dark. I'm still DJ Dark Ken on Instagram. That's my main platform. On Twitter, I actually don't promote it that much because I like to be a little lurker, but just Kent King on Twitter. If you really want to know a lot of my thoughts and things that I, say, and I like that because I have the freedom to really, you know what I'm saying? Like one of my last tweets was like, yo, did y'all actually make any money off of those blessing looms that y'all was doing 2 years ago?
Oh, wow.
What happened?
That's shade. That's big shade.
I just want to know.
That's big shade. But it's good that, the thing about it.
I just want to know. Did anybody
important.
make any money off of that? Or was that just a thing that came and went?
I don't hear anything about blessing loom.
None of that. Remember when all of that was out and everybody, and I remember when people was trying to convince me like, no, this one is different. And I'm like, bro. So what y'all have to understand is what's called Ponzi-nomics. Seriously, Ponzi-nomics. It's really about how success happens based on leveraging other people. That's Ponzi-nomics. The people at the top will be able to win because they were there first. Everybody who's last loses.
Yep.
That's how a Ponzi scheme works. And you can finesse them into any type of marketing ploy that you want to put it into. But when you look at the actual makeup, the DNA of the financial structure that you're in, there's only but so many economics that are going to work.
It's crazy you talk about. It's crazy you made light of that situation, but I love how you did it, and it's important because the thing is,